Hi, I'm Dr. Charlene Walters, author, business and branding mentor, trainer, as well as your host for Launch, a business talk show for anyone who wants to launch their business, their career, or their life. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Launch. I'm your host, Charlene Walters, and today we have an amazing guest, Brian Fried. He is a Chief Invention Officer, a radio and TV host, an author, an inventor representative, and someone who has invented so many products. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you, Charlene. Thank you for having me.
You have done so many great things in your career. Can you tell me a little more about everything you've done, about your journey?
Sure. Well, it started off as being an inventor, somebody that just came up with ideas and started to take them a little bit more seriously and convert them into having products that are out in retail, and been on QVC for a couple of years and have as seen on TV products, and then just kind of realizing that other people might need that same type of help that I did when I first started. So I really just started to get out there. I authored a couple books, You and Your Big Ideas, and another one, Inventing Secrets Revealed. Hosted a radio show called Got Invention Radio, now Got Invention Show. Run National Inventor Club, which originally started in my Long Island area in New York. And
you know the Long Island medium?
I do.
That's great.
Yes. I haven't met her personally, but I know that she's somewhere in town. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So maybe she can help predict the future.
Of inventions, right?
Yeah. And just been active with helping other people and other inventors with their ideas, whether it's licensing to earn royalties from their inventions or manufacturing. But you know what, Charlie, most of the time I help people to realize that maybe they shouldn't necessarily work on their idea and just wait for the next one. And that's okay too, because that's the whole idea. When you're coming up with an idea or an invention, you're really starting your own business. And that's the entrepreneur side in what this is all about. So thank you again for having me on your show.
You're welcome. And it's awesome that you're out there helping people. So many times people just need that feedback, as you're saying. And obviously you have a long history of invention. What was your first invention and what's your latest?
You know, when you look at your ideas, it's like your baby. So I'm thinking, as you asked me that question, I'm thinking about some that might not have made it, and some that have some levels of success out there. So I came up with a product called the Ballooner Band.
Okay.
And it was, I had my, like as you start to have different stages in your life, things start to come around. So I got married, and I started to realize that my wife was doing things that maybe I could do a little differently in the kitchen. Then we had our baby, which now she's 19 years old. So Alana. So like during the stages of your life, you start to come up with different things. So when my daughter was born and she got a little older, we went to all these different events, and her balloons were flying away. Mylar balloons. When we went to like Sesame Place, or we went to Madison Square Garden and we watched Disney on Ice or whatever. So I came up with a nylon wristband that had a metal D-ring, and you would hook the string to the balloon onto this D-ring, and it would allow you to just like not have to worry about tying the ribbon around the kid's wrist. Because I was doing that. My daughter was like, "Daddy, you're cutting off my circulation." So came up with that. And if you let go of it, it's also a weight, so the balloon doesn't fly away. So that one I came up with a long time ago. I've had products on QVC. I've had one of my products is called Pull Ties. It's a bag sealer. I have a collapsible egg tray. I have tongs that have adjustments of how wide the tongues open and close. I have one that just came out a couple weeks ago called Paper Towel Topper. It prevents the wet or dirty hands getting put on top of the paper towel roll. So it's fun. I think I'm up to 13 or 14 patents at this point, and, just having a good time doing it. And one thing, Charlene, like just coming up with the ideas and then bringing it to market and having people buy it, that's the most amazing feeling. Like, that's what it's all about. The money and the royalties and all that come, but like just seeing people use it for the reason you came up with it is awesome.
Oh, it totally is. So rewarding and so gratifying. How many total inventions would you say you've invented, and what's your favorite one, Ben? If you have a favorite child.
Well, does it go based on how much money it's made you?
I don't know. It's up to you.
or it's the potential. One of them, I happen to have it on my desk here. This is a snack container. Just look at besides having Elmo on it, just look at the design.
Yeah.
And it's a sphere that opens up. So it kind of got annoying to me when people would scoop their hands in like snacks, like you go to a party. And I said, how can I replicate that? So I came up with this product called the Snackosphere. And I said it would look cool to have a face on it. So I went to a company, I licensed it to them. So I gave them the rights to my intellectual property so they can manufacture it and distribute it. And I would earn a royalty from it. And these have sold a gazillion units. So I had Elmo, Cookie Monster, all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And now they're actually back in the stores as generic dogs and cats.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And as far as how many, I'm up to, I think, like I mentioned, 13 or 14 patents, but I have some that aren't patented that I actually have worked on. So, this product, it's like when I went into Walmart and I saw it available, I would be like, I just took one and I saw a kid going in the aisle and he's staring it down and I'm like, I'll buy that for you. So
that's sweet.
I love doing that.
Okay, so here's a really, really important question. Do you have an invention that can make me a better cook? I really
better cook?
Your help.
Well, there are things out there to assist and support you to be a better cook. Are you talking about in your mind a cookbook that has like the exact specific recipe and ingredients that you need?
Maybe it's like cooking for dummies or something.
Well, actually, I came up with a product that when I saw my wife, she made pasta. Okay. And when she made the pasta, she would boil the water in the big pot. Right. And then so that was done. Then she wanted to drain the water. So she would put a colander inside, or she would put paper towel all over the counter, then put the drain it in the water, right? And then like shake it off or whatever, then put it on the paper towel, which would get all wet and sticky, and in the sink was sticky. So I came up with this colander, and basically it's a colander inside a bowl. Okay. And then it locks in place. And then when you want, you twist it and it drains from the bottom.
Very good.
Maybe this can make you a better cook.
It could definitely make my kitchen a little bit cleaner and make me better. Yes. Thank you for that tip.
And then the top part, you can put like chicken or beef or fish or whatever on top, and it fits right in. So you can have an all-in-one complete meal that you make in this microwave cooker.
Oh, nice.
That I came up with. So
that's a good one. I'll have to check that out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where can you mentioned a few places, but where can we find your products? What stores?
Right now they're in TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, Home Sense. There's some in Walmart, Amazon, a bunch of catalogs. They make their rounds, and they're cyclical.
So you work with a lot of new inventors, and you mentioned about talking to them and coaching them. What would you say in general is one of the biggest obstacles for those people that are new to inventing products?
Charlene, when you come up with an idea, and I'm sure you have, because everybody's an inventor out there, you just don't know it. Or when you have that idea, it's like, okay, what do I do? Forget it. Or it's like, you know what? I should take this a little bit more seriously and maybe do something about it, right? But what happens is when you come up with the idea, you get like, oh my God, I think maybe I'm going to be the next millionaire inventor. Yeah. And you start to get like this feeling like, whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. And what happens is you start to let your emotions kind of take over your business sense. And it doesn't matter what happened, like you make those type of decisions. So one thing that I really want people to know out there, when you come up with an idea, and again, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be a doctor, lawyer, you could be a senior citizen, a student, unemployed, the biggest gazillionaire out there, it doesn't matter. Everybody can be an inventor at some point or another. You come up with an idea and you kind of just stop in your tracks and say, okay, what do I need to do? But a lot of people make decisions based on their emotions. And I don't know if it really has to be just on invention, Charlene. I think it's anything in life. Like you meet somebody and it's emotional, right? Or you do something in business and it's emotional, but are you making the right business decision?
Right.
And that's something that I really help people to make that better decision. So even before they speak with me or I end up looking at what they send, it's really important to do a search. And these days it's so easy. I mean, I'm kind of aging myself now at 47, but you really it's so easy these days. You can go online and just put in a generic search of what you're looking for, kind of like a descriptive search of what you're looking for. And you could see when you click on images, if it already exists.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, no, they go on page 1 of Google or they go into Walmart and they go through the store and it's not out there. And they're like, I'm going to be a gazillionaire, and you have to search with your eyes open. A lot of people are searching and they're closing their eyes and going, it's not out there. It's not out there. So really that part and that step is really, really important. So the emotion, being a business person and business owner when you're coming up with that idea and being realistic in your search can definitely help to make better decisions.
And I agree and often too, people want that instant success, right? We see these success stories, we think it's really fast, but really it takes quite a while to kind of gain traction. So it can be a dangerous thing to get in that kind of thinking. If you had to break it down for a new inventor out there, what are some steps to take an idea, transform it into a product, and then bring it to market?
It's interesting because there's so many different, it could be a simple kitchen gadget. It could be something that is nuclear. Well, I should say nuclear, like some hydro, something, some science, really heavy duty type of generator. So that's kind of relative to what steps you might take, but realistically to start with, doing that search online, going into retail stores, going into the space that you are coming up with it. It could be an automotive product. So go into the automotive stores, go into automotive suppliers, just look around and get into that world of what you're doing and see if it already exists. That's really important. The next thing is, okay, so gather what you found and look online to start with, if you'd like, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office or Google patent search. Do a patent search. And you can go on and they get really deep. But just to start with, look at some of the kind of like the images, the drawings that are within there. So online images, then U.S. Patent and Trademark Office or Google patent search, and check to see if your products already exist. And if they do, then move on to your next idea. It's okay. If it's enough of a similarity, then keep explaining why it's different. And then what I like to do is I like to check in with a patent attorney or agent and say, here's my idea. Here's compared to what's out there already. Do you think that I'd be able to get some intellectual property protection? So I always try. If I could get a patent, then I'll try to, get a patent. It's not guaranteed if they say yes, it's just their opinion. But I always try to get some sort of intellectual property. And then the next step is to make a prototype. So you might need an engineer. You might need an electrical engineer, industrial, there's all these different types of engineers. You might just need a product designer, or you might just take things and rip them apart like I used to do. I came up with these toy inventions and and my daughter happened to be, at an age where she probably would have liked the toys that I ripped to shreds. But she started to see me rip them apart. What are you doing? I want that toy. I need this piece. I'll get you one. Don't worry. But I would put together prototypes myself. If it's a cut and sew, like a fabric type of thing, then maybe you don't need something so complicated with engineers and all that. You could just kind of cut it or go to a local seamstress. So there's a lot of variables to what like your idea can end up leading to be able to make that prototype. And then you have the prototype, and now it's like the fork in the road. Do you want to manufacture it yourself, where you're responsible for the factory and the warehousing and the distribution and all the logistics and the returns and everything that it takes to make it, to come up with an idea and start this business and be that entrepreneur? Or is it something that, okay, you're still a business owner because you came up with an idea, but now you want to license it? Like I mentioned, to find a company. Like if you go into the store, they have products already available in the store. You flip over the box and that's the company, and pitch them. I have a product I came up with. I think it'll align nicely with your product line. Can I show it to you? So they like it, they manufacture it, distribute it, and you can earn a royalty from it. And that might be the case most of the time for a certain amount of time. So you're renting the rights to your intellectual property there. And sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah, and then the last step, so you have the kind of the fork in the road there to make that decision. And really so you're an entrepreneur either way, but one, you're really deep into it, and there's less risk with licensing because somebody else is doing it. And the other side, you're taking more risk, but there might be greater reward if you're that entrepreneur. So that's kind of the quick journey.
So how complicated would you say that prototype or MVP should be in your opinion?
Prototypes have changed my life because I show somebody, like let's say I show a potential licensee or I show a buyer something that's a drawing or just like just something kind of like not real. It's interesting, it's good. But when you take that prototype and you show it to them and you can demonstrate it, it makes a big difference. It actually changed my life because I showed the same product over and over again. I'm like, you know what, I need to make a prototype, and I made it. And right away, the licensee got it, and that helped me to really spark a couple of inventions right off the bat.
It's easier to imagine it when you actually see it and see how it works and kind of can touch it and feel it. Definitely can understand that. I see a lot of entrepreneurs kind of struggle with how to identify their target audience. What tips do you give to new inventors for doing so?
You have to be real with what you've come up with. Is it just for you? Are you, I use this kind of example, like if you're a golfer, right? And you came up with this unbelievable golf ball and it could do all kinds of tips and tricks and amazing things. And you're like, wow, you're at the golf course and you're like, look around and you're like, everybody in the world is going to use my golf ball. Right. They need this golf ball. But when you step out of the golf course and you go to a restaurant or a movie theater or whatever, and you ask people, do you play golf? Do you play golf? Not everybody plays golf.
Right.
So sometimes you just kind of get into that world of thinking that that idea is for everybody. And you have to be realistic. If you come up with a woman's shoe that does all kinds of interesting things with the heel and all that, will a guy need it? You know what I'm saying? So you lose half the audience there. So, and then if you come up with a baby product, not everybody has a baby. So really just thinking about who it is that you're trying to market to is something that's very important. So like my pull ties here, when I first came up with this, it was for bread. Then I went to cereal. Then I went into the pantry. Then I went into how many people have a kitchen compared to somebody playing golf or somebody that has a baby product. So that's what I'm saying. Like trying to think about your window of opportunity is really important to gauge who it is that your product is for. And, I was helping an inventor the other night, actually, and he came up with a pet product and he made this step. Like it takes one step for this thing to get done, but he made it into 4 steps to get done. I'm not kidding. 4 steps to get done. So it's interesting that he came up with a new way to do it, but he's making it more complicated for the consumer.
Yes.
So he has a finished product already and he has many units available. So I said, you know what? Why don't you go in front of a PetSmart and give out this box of what you came up with and see what people think about it. And don't say, hi, I'm the inventor, please. Like you're this nice guy. You don't want them to, they don't want to hurt your feelings. So just give it to them with a little piece of paper that says, after you evaluate it, please just send me an email. Just let me know if you like it, you don't like it. And if you don't like it, maybe you can provide some feedback for me of what you think I might be able to do to make it better. And maybe out of 10, maybe he'll get one. You know what I'm saying? That will respond, but at least he'll get some feedback. When I came up with this product line, I had like all these trademarks that I licensed the rights to. So I had like emoticons and acronyms that the kids were using back in the day, trademarked away from cell phones and computers. So everything else. So it was on backpacks, bags, stationery, all that stuff. And I made it for teens and tweens. So what I did was I made a survey, and I ended up going in front of a Barnes and Noble that all the kids were hanging out with, and they go to the cafe there. So I said, you know what? How about if I just if I give you a $10 gift card for filling out this survey, it'll take you 10 minutes. And that's how I got some really good feedback.
That feedback is so important, particularly when you're developing a product and, trying to get as much information as you can to really tweak that prototype and that MVP. I want to hear more about your book, Inventions, Secrets Revealed. Tell us all your secrets, or a couple of these.
Well, it's really getting deeper into the invention steps that you need to take, and again, to help you to make better decisions. So it's just going through all the steps that we went through, but almost navigating you through like a journey of what direction to take. And it's not about me, it's about you and what you came up with. So when you're reading it, it's really to kind of relate to what you have to navigate you through that journey. And I came up with an inventor class. It's called Learn How to Make Money with Your Invention. It's a 3-hour e-learning course that I launched.
Perfect.
So that's something also, if you want to read, you can read. If you want to watch a course, or if you want to just get in touch with me, I help people, like I get into their brain, learn a little bit about them and their product or idea, and just help them to figure out what direction they should take and what might be in their best interest. Because a lot of times, Charlene, like people really don't know what they need.
Yes.
You come up with this idea. It's like, all right, I'm going to make a prototype, but you didn't do this part first to see if it's something that you could call your own. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of like kind of twists and turns that you want to figure out, but it doesn't have to be an exact path.
That's a good point. There's never a straight path to anything in life, particularly being an entrepreneur or an inventor. You're also a host on this network. You've got a show called Got Invention. Tell us, the audience, more about that.
It's really a platform to help inventors get the message out for themselves. So it's a platform for them to promote what they have. They can have a prototype, they can have a finished product. They might be interested in licensing to earn royalties. They might look to find a partner, an investor. You never know who's watching. If they have a finished product and they say their product's available on Amazon or in the stores, somebody's going to go to the store and buy it if they're interested. So it's really a way for me to just continue to help inventors get the word out. And that's something that's really important. And I also have National Inventor Club that I run. I've been running an Inventors Club for 15 plus years. I did it on Long Island and converted it into the National Inventor Club.
Oh, that. Cool.
It's unbelievable. So just anything that I can do to get the right information out to the inventor for networking, collaborating, that's really what my mission is for, to just help people to make money with their inventions, or just wait for the next one to come up with.
Well, thank you for doing all that work for the inventors and entrepreneurs out there. I appreciate you. I'm doing similar work, so we're in this together. I want to switch it up a little bit. I have a little game that I like to play called If You Tell Me Yours, I'll Tell You Mine. So I'm going to ask you some quick questions. The first one is, what's your middle name?
Abraham.
Abraham. Oh, that's a nice one. I don't hear that every day.
But don't tell anyone.
I won't tell anyone. It's between us. My middle name is Lynn. What is your biggest pet peeve?
People that are late or just don't keep their word. I just,
Amazing.
when somebody says they're going to do something, I expect it to get done. When somebody says they're going to be on time or and how about like emails? Like you send an email, it's like, when somebody's going to respond. So
Right.
I'm out there kind of like pitching and meeting new people and kind of like representing inventors and trying to get licensing deals or whatever. And it's like, send me an email back.
Those are good ones. Those are actually pet peeves of mine too. Probably my biggest one is if somebody cuts me in line, that just really ticks me off for some reason. I don't know why. So say you're walking around New York City, who do you hope to run into?
It would be fun to run into like Mark Cuban or like, Mr. Wonderful or just like one of the Shark Tank guys. Like that could be fun.
I ran into Damon John once at the stock exchange, and he was taking pictures with people. So I went in line to get a picture with him, and then his people pulled him away just before me, and I had this sad look on my face, like, oh. So he came and ran back over and grabbed my phone and took a selfie with me, which
Nice.
made me a forever fan of his. If I was running around New York City, I just hope that I would recognize, half the time I'm in my own little world and I don't even notice. So I would just hope I recognize whoever it was. What's your favorite candy bar?
Favorite candy bar? Well, I guess it depends on what day it is, because I definitely have a sweet tooth. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one is my favorite, but I do like a Snickers bar. It definitely has a lot going in it, and it's sweet and it's got the crunch to it. I know there's other ones that are out there, but that one's probably my favorite, and it's supposed to satisfy you, right?
That's what they say. That's what they say. I love Reese's peanut butter cups. That's my little quick one. Grab it every time there's like wrappers in my car. I put them in my little console there and try to hide them so my kids don't catch me with those.
I might have said Reese's peanut butter cups, but you said bar, so I wasn't thinking cup.
Okay.
I'm just saying you got me there.
Trick question. Trick question. Okay, last question. What's high on your bucket list right now?
I have some top secret things I'm doing. Just to continue to build my brand and my empire of ways to continue to help inventors and get the word out, and just really be able to help people to like see their products out there. And or it might not be a product, it might be something that they develop to just really take to the next level and just make a difference in the world.
That is so awesome. Yeah, I like to think I don't know what the next big thing is, right? I'm working all the time on many new things, so I still hope the best is yet to come.
Well,
So
I wish you all the best.
That's the end of our game, and we're coming to the end of this show here, Brian. It's been so much fun. Where can the audience find out more about you?
My personal website is brianfried.com. And if people spell my first name Brain, which a lot of people do, then I'm brain fried. So BRIANFRIED.com. And then
you don't want to be brain fried. That's for
no,
sure.
well, a lot of people think I am being an inventor, but okay. And my business website is inventorsmart.com. And all my websites with the Inventors Clubs and the e-learning course and all that, you can find them all on there.
Awesome. So I hope everybody will check it out. And until then, we will see you next time on Launch.